Okay, in the last video, we focused on the third declension and we were looking at the gender. That's one of the things we need to determine in the third declension is gender, because we recognize that lakes and pars, you see up there, they both have masculine and feminine listed next to them. And that's simply to indicate that words can be masculine or feminine and can be a lakes word, but they can also, it would either be lex or a pars word. And so the gender doesn't tell us to what declension the vocabulary words belong. Okay, and so that's what this video is going to do. You see we have a check mark in our box there for gender, because the third declension, we're going to need to determine gender of the words. And then we also need to determine to what declension will these words belong to, lex or pars. And so we're just going to quickly look at lex and pars here. And, you know, this is one of those fun one-sided conversations I get to have with you where I'm making a comparison, and this is what I would lead in class with the students, but I certainly don't put things in pink because I don't want to highlight to the students the differences. We're looking for similarities and differences. And so here for making this a quicker type of video, you'll see that I have it just already highlighted for you. So the difference between lakes and pars is that one thing there and that one there. Okay, so it is the genitive plural of lex, and it is the genitive plural of pars, which is the IUM. Okay, so it just adds the I there. That is the only difference between these two declensions. So otherwise, everything else is the exact same. But we still have to determine whether vocabulary words belong to lex or pars in order to know how to translate the genitive plural, okay, of words. And so in order to do that, last time in order to do the gender, we had rules that we had to follow for the gender. And those are covered in the last video. And then there was a fun little bookmark that had a flow chart that walks you through exactly how to do it to determine gender. So now we need to go and we're going to determine, using these rules listed here, if it's a lakes word or a pars word. Okay. So in the grammar book, it tells you it's numbers 59 through 63. And I just kind of summarized 59 really quickly and just said, all third declension nouns follow lakes unless one of the vocabulary words satisfies one of the following rules here. Okay, if it satisfies one of these rules, then you know that vocabulary word is going to belong to the pars. Okay, so we come back here and look at rule number 60, which says nouns with the same number of syllables in both the nominative singular and genitive singular. And those are the ones they always give you in your vocabulary, right? We always are given the nominative and genitive singular. So when we look at the example that they give, hostess, okay, same number of syllables, right? So this makes it a pars word. And that's why I have hosty, because that's the only difference, right? So it's a pars word. It satisfies that rule and therefore is pars. Then we look at number 61. It says nouns whose stem, and I underline stem just to catch your attention, ends in two consonants. Okay, so anytime we try and find a stem of a word, we use the genitive, right? They give us the nominative and the genitive singular. So we always go to the genitive, and we know that this third declension, this is ending, this is the part that we drop off of it to find the stem. And then we look at the stem and it simply tells us that if it ends in two consonants, then it's going to be a pars word. And so I can see right here, we've got two consonants here, right? No vowels, two consonants, an N and a T, and it satisfies that rule. So the word gains gentis is going to be a pars word. Okay. Now, if you have vocabulary that does not satisfy, they do not have the same number of syllables, they do not end, the stem does not end in two consonants, then you know it's going to be a lakes word. Okay. And so this is it. As much as this seems like there's a lot going on here, there's really not. 59 just gives you kind of the gist of what's coming, right? These are the two main things you need to look at. This is all you're going to evaluate. And once you do that, you will have determined lakes or pars. And then those two things that you need to do for the third declension, anytime you have third declension vocabulary, and we'll see intermittently over the next, first semester into second, you'll still occasionally get additional third declension words. They're always adding more each, typically each week. And so each time you get to that, you're going to determine gender using the little flow chart or just looking at the numbers related to gender. And then you'll determine likes or pars looking at these two rules. And then just mark those in your book. Once you know that, for example, hostess is a pars word, then you go and you write that down. It's pars. And then next to it in your book, you can also write that hostess is going to be a feminine word because it's not naming an individual male person. It's enemy. And it doesn't name an individual. So it's not masculine. It's not a feminine person. And then you go to the next rules of, does it end in an ER or OR for error? No. Does it end in an S, an O, or an X? Yes, it does. Therefore, it's a feminine word. And so then when you come and you are doing flashcards, whether it's your student that's doing the flashcards or even you, I make my own flashcards as well. I put on the front the word, and on the back side, I place what it means. And then I put, it's a third declension. It is feminine. And then you can put pars or you can put the IUM ending, however it works for you. That's the simplest way to do it. And that way, when you're doing flashcards for the students or for yourself, you're memorizing all this information. And it's not something you have to go back and reinvent. It's already labeled and it's done. That is how it works. And so we are done then. We've labeled gender and we have lakes or pars. And now you're ready for what's coming next.